What's up, everybody? I'm back, PublicSlaveZero. Last one went pretty good. I thought I'd do a little more, and since I got a full battery this time, thought I'd go a little more in detail on. Really, it's just Power Rangers. I didn't talk about Power Rangers hardly at all. I just said it was kind of cool. But first, I've always enjoyed Spider-Man comics. He's not my favorite superhero, but his comics have always been some of the funnest to read. So I asked the comic book guy, you know, what he thought would be the best Spider-Man series to jump in on, and he said The Amazing Spider-Man. So I picked up this one, Spider-Man 1/1, and that's where it gets a little confusing, like right off the bat, because like 1.6 isn't even out yet. I just picked up this one, and I think it's part of the same series because if you open it up, the first page, this little intro is the same as the intro in the other ones, but this one's okay. What I liked about this one most, real quick, the story's real weird. It's like, so far there's no villain that I'm aware of, or that I have knowledge of, excuse me. But some guy comes back to life after being murdered, and like Spider-Man finds out like his guts have been ripped out and put back in from the morgue and all this stuff, and but he meets these kids, the kids of the guy that come back to life. There's so many pages. Okay, right here, he's like creeping on the kids, and right there, this is the perfect example of why Spider-Man is a fun comic to read, because talking to himself, he says, "Aha, unattended children, better keep an eye on them. Shut up, I'm not being creepy. I love kids. Kids love me. You shut up. Just the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man keeping an eye on the youth of America." It's just funny, like he argues with himself, and I can kind of relate. Like problems get solved when I'm debating against myself. I got one side saying, hey, this should be a good idea, and the other side's going, that's fucking retarded, like, don't do that. So like, I like it. Spider-Man, he's like Peter Parker. He's no longer like the high school kid or even a college kid. He owns Parker Industries, which is like a huge firm, and he does humanitarian work and all sorts of stuff with the business. He's like Tony Stark Spider-Man. Like, I don't know how else better to put it. Like Tony Stark Spider-Man. The suit, he's got a new suit. It looks like some of the other ones. Like nothing's like pops out other than like he clicks a button and the suit sort of just appears over top of him. That's like the big one. And then he's got like a couple other gadgets with it. I can't think of anything like offhand other than like, well, I'll move on. The other story, the other Spider-Man, I'll set this here, I guess. I picked up issue 4 and issue 5, and oh, boop boop. And this is sort of the problem with jumping in on comics, is issue 4 picks up when they're getting ready, like there's a SHIELD strike force going after these people called the Zodiac, and they're like just people named after signs of the Zodiac. And like on their way there, Peter Parker as Spider-Man, and gets a call from Aunt May, who's in Africa, for Parker Industries, setting up like solar panels so that this little African village can set up communication and all this other stuff and have electricity. And I love that part because he's with I got her name, Mockingbird. He's with Mockingbird, and she's like, no, you can't answer that right now. He's like, there's always time to answer Aunt May's phone call. And that's like that's Spider-Man. Like Aunt May is his true love. Like regardless of Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, or whoever, Aunt May is his true love. And she's May Parker Jameson because she's married to Jay Jameson. I I don't think that's like J. Jonah Jameson, and it's not John Jameson. It's John Jameson's grandfather, but I don't know if that's J. Jonah Jameson or J. Jonah Jameson's dad, which I think that might be possible. That might really be possible. But while he's on the phone with her, he sees her get attacked by green goblins. Well, pumpkins. The pumpkins. But he knows who it is. He knows Green Goblin. But it's not Green Goblin. It's like a Green Goblin army or something. They're mercenaries, I guess, hired by some African general to wipe out the Parker people. Of course, he boots Mockingbird out. She's like, you can't go there. He's like, get out. Like, this is mine. He comes in, saves the day, crashes, makes sure everybody's safe, but there's a couple kids, so he runs and gets the kids, and he saves them. Big hurrah. And that's number 4. And then it starts up in number 5, him leaving after saving the day in Africa. And he meets up with S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury's pissed, but Nick Fury doesn't realize that Peter Parker and Spider-Man is the same person. He thinks they're separate. He's like, Parker, make sure your buddy shows up. Like, Zodiac's attacking the British National Museum or British Natural Museum of History. I don't know. I don't know my landmarks. I know my comics a little better. So they go head that way, but see his buddy Human Torch is there, and they make mention that they fought. So I'd like to get issues 2 and 3. If there's an issue 1, I guess, but I don't. I think the 1.1 up to 1.6, I think, is the last one in that. I think that all might come together, so it'd be issue 1.1 through 1.6, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So I really only need 2, 3. Yeah, 2 and 3. Because, see, in this one, they meet up with the Santarians. That's who that is. I don't know who they are. You know, I gotta get 1.2. But he meets up with the Santarians, who are like good guys or bad guys. Like, there's something. And then, but in this one, the Human Torch and him make mention that, like they've fought before because they didn't know who each other was or something. There's the suit sort of warping in over top. And then this is actually a really cool scene. When I turned the page, I was like, that's Spider-Man. Boom. Look at that. That's wicked. You got Coulson. If you're into S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff. I don't keep up on that show. But Spider-Man, Human Torch looks sick. And they go in, Spider-Man action. I'm gassy this time. Prowler's there. So you have Prowler, Mockingbird, Spider-Man, Human Torch, and then Nick Fury is around here somewhere. I'm not quite sure. You got Coulson right there. An Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You guys probably know her. I don't know her. Probably that chick from the movies that's always right underneath Nick Fury. There's Nick Fury. Boom, hiding in the back. Charlie's Angels pose or something. And so they fight all the Zodiac. Ruin the Rosetta Stone. The main one, Scorpio, cuts Rosetta Stone in half, pulls this stuff out. And then he's like, they're all gone. Like, I'm gonna kill everybody else. And he hits this, like, it's like a tooth bomb. Like, there's a bomb in their tooth and, like, makes their brain explode or something. And he sets them all off. Or no, I guess it'd be like a venom thing. Like, injects inside their teeth and kills them because Spider-Man has already dealt with this once before and saved one of them. And so now he has these little, let's see, where's it at? Right there's one. These little things he's throwing, and it's I wrote it down because it was very, very weird. Antitoxin. he sticks it to their neck as he's swinging through the air, and injects an antitoxin into their neck. And he saves the day. And he fires somebody on his staff. I don't know. You know, I'm giving like full-on spoilers, but I feel like I'm not making much sense anyway. So if you enjoy Spider-Man, check this out, man. Like, this is where my spoilers don't fucking matter, because I only have 4 and 5, and so he's talking to this guy here. Refers to him as Mr. Jacobs, the chief shareholder of Parker Industries. Very weird, ominous dude. And then he's got Scorpio shit, and the thing they got from the museum that was inside the Rosetta Stone. That's the key. And then of course you have right here his outfit, because he's the bad guy. But I'm like, I don't know who Mr. Jacobs is. And he might have a huge, like a bigger part in issues 2 and 3, but I didn't read those yet. I want to, and I'm hoping that it is like issues 2 and 3, and it's not issues the 1.1 through 1.6, because that could get a little confusing, because 1.6 just come out, or is up and coming, like coming out soon. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check in on that. Right now, I'm so all over the place. The point of comic reading for me is to sort of find something that connects with you. Kind of like when you're watching a show and there's that super deep, sad moment, and you sort of just, you relate the most with that character at that moment, like you've been in his shoes, and he is dealing with it like either better or worse than you did, or just differently. That's what you can get out of comics. And actually, this next set is sort of my example of that, I guess. I brought it up the other day. I didn't say much about it. Of course, Power Rangers. It's alright. Like, I'm way too old for the show. I get it. But these are a little denser than the show. Like, there's more to them than what the show ever had. The character progression, like the storytelling, is actually there. Like Tommy, of course, we all know, green with evil. He was a bad guy for Rita. She created him, and they're a little more detailed on that. Like, she created his Power Stone. Like, it wasn't just she found like an extra Power Ranger crystal. She created a stone and equipped it to this kid, and just sort of brainwashed this young kid, like high school student. And it picks up sort of at the end of all that. And this is issue 0, and they don't even have like the full story of Tommy turning. They have like a little beginning picture right here. Rita is standing over top of him, looking all badass. And then it immediately goes into like Tommy and Jason are riding together to school. I feel like they missed out on a bunch there. Of course, maybe they just didn't want to like rub the story in, which would make sense because we know the story. And I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoilers to show you like how more, I guess, adult themed the comics are than what the show is. And like, I'll still get down on some Mighty Morphin, but the comics make more sense at this point. Cause like, a huge Zord battle. All of a sudden, the Dragon Zord freezes up, just shuts down. Here's real quick to interject. These little Bulk and Skull comics are the goofiest things, and yet I can't get enough of them. They're just so silly. Right here, it's like Archie and Jughead. Bulk and Skull. But yeah, the issue 0 introduces Scorpina, which came in like the later of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, And correct me if I'm wrong, that was later on in the season, because I don't remember that much, because I dropped off. Like, shortly after the movie came out, they went to the ninja, and the red dragon, you know, it was like that, and like a Chinese dragon. He wasn't the T-Rex no more. They all switched Zords. I got a little past that, and then, like, I dropped off. It just got silly. Also, one Saturday morning on ABC, Saturday mornings, sort of cut into the Power Rangers on Fox Saturday mornings. I like Pepper Ann. So yeah, that's what happens in that one. And this one actually opens up sort of some of the character development. You see some of their home life, a big fight, putty fight, monsters in the background. It's awesome. You could say it's awesome. Hey, I'm excited for the movie. The movie looks good. I mean, I don't know what you expect. Like, the armor, would you rather them be in spandex again? How convincing was that for you as a kid? I was like, I love their armor, but I couldn't wear it. So yeah, they drop in. Pretty cool entrances. Beeman, I guess. Kick some butt. This one wasn't as memorable. This was, though. They find a disguised Bulk and Skull. Sorry, Bulk and Skull find a disguised putty, and they like kidnap them. And there's just short little things like this page, done. But Bulk and Skull is actually a pretty funny part of the comic. This one, you get a fight between Scorpina and Tommy. Cool picture of the Dragon Zord underwater. Billy and Trini are trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And that's where the character development is, because Billy's sort of jealous of everybody else's fighting skills, and Trini's like, no, you're smart, like, we need a smart dude. And they do, like, because he gets he gets Tommy, like, because he's brainwashed by Rita. He keeps like hearing Rita talk behind him, you know, sort of influence him. And Billy fixes. I'm sorry. At the end of 3, he may not fix it, but they're on to something. Like, they know what their goal is. But anyway, so Scorpina and Tommy takes her to a woods, like a forest outside of Angel Grove, I'd imagine, and they start fighting. Cool fight. Like, it's actually like a pretty enjoyable fight. And then she calls him putties, and it's like the Green Ranger versus Scorpina, and like 20-30 putties. He says at the end that is like 25 or 30. And then it cuts to Jason, who's teaching karate, which is like a pretty standard thing that he did in the TV show quite often. Except he did it at that Ernie's Juice Bar thing, which I always thought was weird. It's like a community center, but like Ernie's, or I don't know. But Kimberly's there, and like she wants to go get coffee, whatever. Jason's like, you like him, don't you? And she's like, and he's like, no, you like him. And she, that's kind of normal from a TV show, but it's still character. Like, she's like, there's actually conversation. There's a lot of conversation between Jason and Kimberly right there. Pretty enjoyable. And from what I read, I hate to admit this, I didn't want to get the Pink Ranger series. I just don't care. Like, Gwenpool is not my typical choice. So Pink Ranger is not my typical choice. But I was reading about it, and it's like all the other Rangers are in space for some reason, and she's left to protect the Earth. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. What are they doing in space? Like, do I have to read Pink Ranger to find out why the others are in space? I'll think about it. Right now, I'm not. I'll wait till there are a couple issues in. Issue 1 just came out, so I'll wait a couple issues. So anyway, goes back to the fight. A lot of stuff going on. Baboon Squad talking to Rita. they're like, she's gonna screw it up for us, and Rita's like, no, she's doing exactly what I need her to do. She doesn't realize it, but she is. And then here it is, in like heroes, bam, bam, they're coming to save the day, and then Black Ranger pops in, he's like, need some help? Sorry I'm late. Trick car. And so yeah, they kick some butt. Tommy takes off after Scorpina. Rita's, well, I know the little voice in his head. He comes back. Jason, Zach, and Kimberly are all finishing up on the putties. And then Tommy starts being a little dick, like Rita, you know, in his ear is like, they think they're better than you, and he's like, you guys aren't better than me. It's not bad. And then they're saying the reason the Zord, they find out, like, Billy comes back and Trini, and they all meet up, and they're there in front of Zordon, right there. And Billy's like, your Zord doesn't trust you. Like, he just stopped because he doesn't want to work for you. Like, not right now. He knows something's wrong. And like, Tommy starts to go crazy from the Rita in his head, and like, he says, guys, you're I'm done with this. And they're like, done with what? And he's like, all the annoying nagging. And they're like, what? What is he talking about? And he's like, all the what, Tommy? Tell them. And he's just like, drops out. Like, he's done. And then it's another Bulk and Skull comic. And it's just silly. He still got the putties all tied up. I'm not sure he's a putty because he was in, like, a hat and overcoat. Never mind. I knew better. He's a putty. He breaks it. He breaks out the card because they take their kidnapped putty to the basketball court where Kimberly and Trini are, and they're like, we're going to be like heroes and save them from the putty, and the putty breaks out. So, normal Saturday morning stuff. To issue 3. Issue 3, we come in. They show Goldar. And these two, Squad and Babu, are like, Goldar, we need your help. The Rita would love it. And he's like, no, I shamed her. And the whole dream sequence here. Rita getting in Tommy's head. I thought they wasted, like, a good section right here showing Alpha 5. Is it Alpha 5 or just Alpha? We'll say Alpha. Showing Alpha getting a glass of water for Tommy after he wakes up. Here he's like, I'm going to get the water. Here he's bringing the water, and here he's drinking the water. I'm like, how much more could you have squeezed in? Like, just an overabundant use of water. Not really. It's just weird. I wasn't expecting it. So see, there's more weird stuff going on here. Tommy getting a CAT scan, which breaks into another dream sequence. But here I learned something. It was actually something cool to learn. So the Dragon Zord comes in. He's like, I didn't call it. What the hell? They morph. Got Yellow Ranger, Green Ranger. They morph. They do their little stances. Right here. Gotta dig it. And she calls her Zord. Which is right next to the command center, which is an awesome picture. I wouldn't mind a picture of like the command center and all the Zords towering over top. That would be cool to me. So she gets in the Zord, and right off the bat, very top of the page, boom, she calls her Zord, the saber-toothed tiger Zord, Smog. S-M-A-U-G. Smog. That's cool. Did she name it that, or is that its name? And what are the other Zords' names? I'm curious. I hope they show us. That's the water heater if you hear that weird noise. Dragonzord stomps it. He plays the Dragon Dagger. Dragon Zord don't like it. Wakes up. It's all a dream. They finished with the Cascan. That whole thing was inside the Cascan. And then it goes to, let's see, you got Billy, Kimberly, Zach, and Jason. And Zach starts talking about he don't trust the Green Ranger. Like, that guy didn't tell us that he heard Rita in his head. Like, that dude's going crazy and falling out on us. And what if he could hurt us? He almost defeated us once already. He's like Rita's greatest weapon. That's pretty much it. Like, he complains about it. Nobody else is really. They're like, well, we gotta be there for him. We're his friend. Typical Power Ranger. Like, that's old school stuff. It's just, to me, everything else is more mature. Like, my son, he couldn't read it anyway. He's 6, but he loves Power Rangers. But I think even if I was to read this to him, he wouldn't quite understand a lot of it. And then, like, it gets all sciencey, like the science fiction, which is cool. They're like, this is, who'd they say it was? Okay. They're like, this is Jason's. That's Tommy. His is going nuts. Like, we got to do something. Tommy, you're desperately in trouble. You need to let us help you. Some more talking, a lot more talking. Him explaining, you know, I've been hallucinating, guys. Like, this is bad. Like, she is in my head. On the globe. This is the coolest picture. I want this as a poster on my wall. This is so cool. They see on the little globe, at the command center, Zordon's little globe where they can see, like, what's happening in the world. He sees the Dragon Zord, and he's like, I didn't call it, like, just like in the dream, except this time it's real, and he's with everybody else. Alright, well, first off, it's swimming, which is very cool and Godzilla-like. I love Godzilla. I almost got that comic. I'm really debating getting Godzilla. So then, Scorpina does her little evil, you know, it's the last page, so it's like her last little evil declaration, I guess. And all of a sudden they show this couple, and it's this like real pretty blonde woman, red dress, elegant champagne glass. Like, oof, it got cold out here. And then there's an old man, and he's got his arm around her. He's like, well, you know, it is the ocean. You can never tell just how fast the weather might turn. But here it is. Look at this picture. The Dragon Zord coming up from underneath the ship. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. And then Bulk and Skull trying to do their Power Rangers best, I guess. And that's where I read about the Pink Ranger. And how cool it actually could be. And I'm a little excited to read this. Kong of Skull Island. I bet it's something else. Always look out for like these small ones. Boom Studios. Boom Studios. They got some cool stuff. Some Sons of Anarchy. Sorry, this is actually Lucifer Saves Lucas Stand. But I think is Sons of Anarchy Boom? Sons of Anarchy might be Boom. If not, well, anyway, Kong of Skull Island is Big Trouble in Little China. If you're a fan of the movie, I would suggest checking out the comic. You might dig it. Bill and Ted Go to Hell. Get the hell out of here, Bill and Ted. Oh, I love me some Bill and Ted. Yeah, Sons of Anarchy. And Klaus. Santa Claus. Klaus. I don't know, some cool stuff there. Some neat ones you might want to check out that you never heard of. Something different. You know, hop off the superhero train. Assassin's Creed has a comic out, and I don't see no reason why it couldn't be a decent comic. Doctor Who? Grab up Doctor Who. I need to get on some Star Trek. Now, I talked about these the other night, but I hadn't read them yet. Well, guess what? I read them, and I took notes. So right off the bat, the Atom. Blue-haired chick, she's in the Atom. I'm not gonna get too in-depth in these because I really think you guys should read this. If you read comics, like, this is a higher price one. It's $5.99 compared to $3.99, some even $2.99 or $4.99. I guess it's just $1 more than Justice League, but it's worth it. You get two, because you get Dark Knight, which is a hell of a story, and you get these little ones inside. And I kind of want to take them out, but I think I'll just keep them inside. So yeah, the Atom. I should have read the Atom comic at the end of the first one, because it was very, very linked to the story. By the time I read book 2, it was a little confusing on what was going on, and it was actually in here. Ray Palmer looks cool. It's a picture of Superman. Let's see. It's probably the best picture in the whole thing. It's sort of goofy. Right there. He's not actually running from a dinosaur. He's in small mode, and he's running from like a pet lizard. That's cool. Very Ant-Man. You know, like the Atom and Ant-Man are very, very close. But this one really had a lot to do with the story, and I really feel that I sort of missed that moment. You know, like, if I had finished this, read the Atom, got issue 2, and read it, it would have been cool. But like, I had to go back and I learned some different stuff. Like, she actually went to him. It wasn't. I see in issue 2, I sort of thought like he was already working on making Candor big. Turns out he wasn't. Little Supergirl. That's not right. It's definitely not Supergirl. It's Wonder Woman and Superman's daughter. And yes, she flies like that. It's very weird. And one last shot of it. The Atom. It's cool. You know? The Atom, that was a cool one. It looked cool. The art was really, really nice. Definitely fit within the Dark Knight universe that I've read in this series. So issue 2 had Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was cool. I really don't have nothing bad to say, but I don't have anything that stands out. It was sort of just icing on the cake for like a great issue, because book 2 of the Dark Knight, this was a good one. But she sort of has this classical look on Wonder Woman, which is awesome because I really like New Frontier. It's one of my favorite DC movies. The comics, the art style for New Frontier was my favorite thing. So her looking classy like that's alright. But here's where my problem comes. I noticed it here, but it follows through in the rest of the books. Superman's daughter is very pretty in face shots. Body shots, she's not. Take a look. Very pretty. Sort of bland. The purple and blue is such a weird combination. It's bland there, but very pretty there. Very pretty. Very pretty eyes. Not so much here. Wonder Woman is very Amazonian. Way prettier than her. And especially here. Look at that. That's a good looking Wonder Woman. It's just, there's not much to the story. Let's see. Trying to train her daughter, and her daughter's like, I don't need train. Sword breaks. Like, I'm Kryptonian. Out. Like, just flies off. It's good. Good filler. Now 3 gets a little weird. It's Green Lantern. Best part about this one is the cover. The rest of it is just, it doesn't make much sense. It opens with like these 2 green aliens. Yeah, I suspect the little one is Hal Jordan, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because he's like, there's something wrong with your blue marble, and this guy, the big alien, grabs this shadowy thing. It's not even, it doesn't even show. It's just a black mess on the page right there. And he goes whoosh, and then you turn the page, and there's all this, and there's weird talk. It's like, until my real name called me, it was like coming to from a coma. My name is Green Lantern. Like, what? And then they show this woman, or this kid sleeping. Woman comes in and is like, come with me, Earth needs you. And he's like talking about, I can bend reality with my will. And he's like, of course that's what Earth does. And all of a sudden he's the Green Lantern, and he's holding up a like little Earth that he created in his hand with the power of will, and he's like, Earth needs. Like, that's what Earth does. But this one ends up being part of the story, but not, it's not part of the story that you need to read. It's just part of the story. Like, you actually need to read this story to understand this story. These 3 women are saying, like, we're gods now. Quar is our father. Quar is in here first, and then he's released in here, and then he's the big bad guy in that one. And I imagine next couple, or however many are coming out. Let's see, my book 4. Imagine 5 or 6 maybe. I have to look that up. But they're like, yeah, they're like talking to the Sphinx and destroying the Sphinx. It's really weird. And then all of a sudden Green Lantern pops up, and not very Hal Jordan like. He says, there will be no shadow as long as I live and cast my light. Hal Jordan's sort of a goofball. Kind of like the Flash. You know, him and Barry Allen, 2 peas in a pod. But they're like, you got godlike powers, make us worship you, take us. Like, it gets a little raunchy there for a second. And they're like, please, you know, you're a god, show us mercy, or show us no mercy, make us do your bidding. And he whips out, well, I'm not sure what happens here. This one says, make us surrender to you. And she flies off, and he holds the ring up at her. And then this other one shoots his frickin' arm off and throws it. Look, she's flying away with his hand, but it's spewing green blood. What? How does that make sense? And then he's falling because he ain't got the ring, and he's bleeding green blood. And then she chucks the arm. She just goes, chucks the arm. And right before he hits the ground, he catches her, and then she drops him, and she's like, let's take this world from him. And it says continue. I would actually read it, except I'm not quite sure. I guess maybe that'll bring Green Lantern into the Dark Knight story. You know, not that one. Maybe book 5 or book 6 or whatever it comes to. And this one is the weird one, the Outcast, in my opinion, because it's Batgirl in pink or purple and green. It's such a weird look, and like, she might be Spanish or black, which isn't a problem for me. Like, I don't care about that, but it's not Barbara Gordon, that's for damn sure. But the art is sort of silly. Look at these people. It's very weird. It's a weird look. But my biggest problem with her is she has this one pose. She has one superhero pose that she's done twice in this short little thing. It's this one. What do you call this pose? You're a girl. You should be like way more finesse. Second time. I don't know. It's very weird. But anyway, she pulls this thing out. You barely notice it. She pulls this thing out. She drops it. And it's like pinging or something. And it falls down, I guess. As it's falling down, hand comes up out of the water, grabs it. Green glove. She's fighting people. There's a green glove grabbing it. She's fighting people, beat the shit. Sort of weird looking too. She is. Aquaman turns up. Totally cool with that. Do not have a problem with the appearance of Aquaman. Here's a question though. Why did Aquaman save this Batgirl? Like, he looks cool there too. Like he's got kelp across his face. I just don't understand why Aquaman would come all the way up to save her, and then he jumps back in the water, and he's like, hold your breath, and she's got her face up against his chest, and they go down. I wouldn't read that Batgirl. It does fit with the story because she's running because they've told everybody that we're gonna kill everybody in the city if you don't give us Batman. She's Batgirl. She knows where Batman is, right? So she's running from them. She's fighting everybody, and they're just helpless people. You know, they're trying to shoot her, but she's just breaking their arms because she's been assumingly trained by the Bat. That's pretty much all I have. That's a pretty good video, 40 minutes. And that was some hard comic discussion. I only talked about 3 different series. Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Power Rangers, and I went back through and touched up a little bit on Dark Knight 3. Pretty good. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, click like, share it. Follow me Facebook, Twitter, Google+. It turns out that my links are already set in the description every single time I upload a video through the computer. I use my phone sometimes. No, I don't. But I can. But it's been a long time since I uploaded a video in this way. Be sure to pick up some comics, man. I want to get, let's see, Godzilla. I want to check out Godzilla. Spawn. I almost grabbed up Spawn. You know how many years it's been since I checked on Spawn. I almost grabbed up Spawn, but it was like the big finale of this saga, and Spawn was fighting Satan. And I was like, well, definitely don't want to get involved at the end of a story arc. Like, it doesn't matter if you start off at issue 1, just try to start off at the beginning of a story arc, because you're really going to enjoy following the story from beginning to end. Even though there's, like, that might be, like, the main thing, there's still going to be things and, like, sprinkled in between that you get back here, and you're going to get it sprinkled on later on. It's cool. If you want to go back and get those back issues, always go back, go to your comic book store, check out, see if they got some of those back issues. I think the next video I'm going to discuss my Justice League collection and where I'm at on it. And that's a possibility. That's a possibility. That depends on if I'm able to get any more comics. Money's always an issue. Life stuff, bills. But I will be out and about tomorrow. If I think I can swing it, I might pick something else up. But I may not grab from Justice League. Kind of want to see what else is out there, you know. Wednesdays are pretty good days. New comic book day everywhere. At least nationally. I don't know about across seas, but here, every Wednesday is free. Free comic book day. I wish. Every Wednesday is new comic book day. There's always some new stuff coming in, some good stuff, some bad stuff, some stuff you haven't heard about, some stuff you might enjoy, some stuff that might look really weird. Like Savage Dragon has been really tickling me with his image on the racks. He's like a DC or a Marvel character, but now he's like Dark Horse or something, but I don't know. Look up Savage Dragon. Tell me if I should check out Savage Dragon. Like I said, I want to get on some Star Trek. How cool! I need to finish up my Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have issue 1. There's only 5, so I'm 4 behind. But they only have issues 4 and 5 at the store, so I'd have to get him to order the other issues, which, again, it's not a problem. It costs me nothing extra for him to find those issues for me. Just the cover price. And I kind of want to check out Star Trek on Planet of the Apes. That one could be kind of exciting. There's a lot of exciting ones out there. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones I've been eyeballing. Doctor Who, like I said, Doctor Who. It's the Doctor. Like, if you like Doctor Who, why not read the comics? How many times can you watch every season and every episode of Doctor Who? Quite a few times. I've watched quite a few. Repeatedly. Assassin's Creed. I'd like to see some more Mass Effects. I haven't gotten too in depth in my Mass Effect collection, but I did get Redemption, the Redemption series. I got the trade, so it's like 6 issues in 1. And that was a really good comic. And I started to get, I have 1 issue, like issue 3 out of a 6 series set of the Elusive Man. Sort of his backstory, and that one's pretty interesting. I like check that out, and I think there's a couple more series. And then of course Halo. I love Halo. The Halo comics I like the design on them. Sophia. Deadpool. Ton of different Deadpools. X-Men. I kind of like check out X-Men 92. That was my X-Men show back in the day. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's a good selection. BPRD and Hellboy. That was it. Abe Sapien. That was the one. I'm gonna have to get one of those. Mike Mignola. Mignola? Sure. He's fantastic. Just awesome. And like, you pick up a Hellboy comic, you know it's a Hellboy comic. Even if it's a BPRD or a Lobster Johnson comic, you know it's Hellboy. The art, the story, Big Fist and the Samaritan. So yeah, in the comments, why don't you tell me what you're reading? What do you fancy? I'm reading Spider-Gwen, but I got to get a couple issues. I've only got 1, but it's interesting. Spider-Gwen. Dark Knight. Check out Dark Knight. That's it. Be safe, everybody.